The Use Case Manager in our XMPro Agile Design Suite allows you to visually orchestrate IoT data sources, services, and applications to create multiple different IoT applications. In this example, we will look at a solar farm with thousands of solar panels, each generating IoT data that we may want to use to create work orders inside SAP EAM, for example, for those solar panels that are likely to be dirty and which we would like to be cleaned by a field services team. We will start by dragging active listeners onto the canvas. Now, XMPro's active listeners is an extensible library of predefined streaming connectors to connect to a vast array of IoT data sources. We also have transformations to manipulate and manage the data and provide analytical capability on the canvas. Context providers are used to enrich the information, and finally, we have action agents to trigger actions inside SAP or other third-party applications, and can also create tasks inside the XMPro console. In this example, we'll be bringing data in from OSIsoft as a time series database. We will drill into that in a little bit more detail later, but we combine this with weather data from a REST API, some MQTT data coming off the sensors on the panels itself, and combine that data, contextualize it with SAP EAM information to know which make and model it is, and finally we'll run it through a HANA model to predict the dirty panels. For those panels that are likely to be dirty, we bring in additional information from SAP ERP, and we show that on an analytical dashboard inside SAP HANA. The most important step, though, is to create a work order inside SAP EAM. Finally, we'd also like to do a root cause analysis or a failure mode inside, and start that inside XMPro. Each stream object have a property pane. So let's look at the OSIsoft property pane, and in here we can see how we set up the data connection to OSIsoft to read the data from a specific Pi server. In the same way, we can also set up the properties for MQTT in this example, and in this instance it is a push, so it means it's a real-time data feed from the sensor data. We combine all of this data through a join transformation, and in this join transformation it shows up all the properties from all the various data sources. What we want to do is create a join based on the customer number. So as you'll see right at the bottom here, we combining all the different data sources for a specific timestamp and connect them via the customer number. The next one we will look at from a property perspective is the ERP information. So if we look at the information coming out from the ERP side, you can see it is a get action to read information from the customer which is specific to the customer. Next, what we want to do is kick off an action to create a work order inside SAP EAM. In this instance, it's a put action, so we push the data through. And if you double click on the arrow, you can actually set up the mapping of the data sources. On the left-hand side, the data is coming out of the event stream, and on the right-hand side, the fields are available from SAP to map this to. This is a visual mapping, making it very easy to take data from the event streams and push it to the right place into the work order. I'd also like to create a task inside the XMPro Action Console to do a root cause analysis, and for that we also want to identify which task it is and how we want to kick off the action. Again, mapping the data to the form, you'll see the data appear on the form itself. The data that you see over here will be on the XMPro form. We've now set up an event stream inside XMPro IoT Application Suite. What I'd like to show you next is what this data looks like inside SAP EAM and also on the XMPro Action Console. Let's look at the work order created in SAP EAM. In this SAP instance, I know the transaction code that I'm looking for, and I also know that we've created a service order for this specific example around the solar panels. So I will interrogate and return all the open service orders for this example. I'll also look for the ones that are created or generated through XMPro integration in the event stream, and here's an example of one of those. As you can see in the header, the order was created from inside XMPro event stream, and it's also assigned to the right responsible party as well as the operations and cost centers. Using XMPro's visual design approach, you can now ensure that you have the right integration with the right information coming from the right sensor at real time without any manual interventions, and this is all done through XMPro's event streams. Now let's look at this in the XMPro Action Console. We can display data from sensors as well as SAP EAM and ERP into the dashboard, but what we're really interested in is the task list for the root cause analysis that was initiated by this event stream. Information for this can come from SAP as well as the PI system, and we can also get readings of the live sensor streams to display to the engineers for decision support. I can also show infrared images from a drone for the panel, for example, and all of this is part of the decision support that we're trying to create for the engineers. You can create customized forms as part of all of these actions. You may have some special instructions that you want to do before you create a work order inside SAP from this user interface for those who go out and do something around this specific panel. EAM work orders can also come from this user interface, not only the event streams. You can also collaborate inside XMPro, so I could talk to other engineers and other users of the system to find out if they've had similar experiences around panels in their area with sensors. I can also create an ad hoc task if, say, a specific action that I want or predefined action is not there. So I can go and set up an ad hoc task for someone to go and do something. Similarly, you can create case files that contains information like reports, photographs, and other artifacts that you may want to keep for a specific incident. Here we provide contextual information coming out of CAD systems and other business systems for decision support in order to drive the next steps of what we want someone to do. In this example, we've taken data from IoT systems, created an event stream, and created actions inside of SAP, EAM, and other business systems.